Hey friends, it's Peggy Hall here from thehealthyamerican.org. Hop on board with me. We need all hands on deck at thehealthyamerican.org. Get on my free email newsletter. That way I can stay in touch with you if these social media platforms go down. Yes, I am on all of the other platforms. You can find my videos on BitChute, on Library. I'm getting on Rumble, all of those platforms. But I really need to be able to email you in case we get lost along the way. Today, I want to talk about the EEOC and what it says about vaccines. And many of you emailed me links to headlines that said, the EEOC approves a mandatory vaccine. And remember, the EEOC is the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. And it is a federal agency that has to do with preventing you from being discriminated against. So we'll take a look at the headlines, shall we? And before we do that, I would like to know from you, have you ever been vaccinated for the flu, for mumps, for measles, for the chicken pox, for polio? I have not gotten any of those vaccines. I was not vaccinated as a child. I had all those childhood diseases, and I'm certainly not interested in participating in any of this. But let me share my screen with you here, because first I want to bring you a word about something that I do for my health that I love, and I want to share that with you. And this is at the website agewithpeggy.com. And what I want to do is let you know that, because I have the information for you right here, you guys. Oh my gosh, it's been a long day. Thank you so much. And I wanted to let you know that new studies reveal that turmeric, that's how I pronounce it, might be the closest thing that we have to a fountain of youth. If you don't know what turmeric is, it's a plant that was revered in ancient times in Egypt and India for its anti-aging properties. Many modern day health experts now agree that consuming turmeric is as crucial as it gets to renew and revitalize how you look and feel. This is why I highly recommend Ageless Body. Ageless Body uses the right type of turmeric that's 46% more effective than that typically found on store shelves. Get Ageless Body today for 51% off by going to agewithpeggy.com, and you can also visit the link below. Let's talk about the needle. There's a really good book called The Poison Needle. I think it was written in the 1940s, and it's going to be very eye-opening for you. You can get it as a PDF online, and I highly recommend that you read that. Many of you are interested in learning about this because you're sending me all sorts of information and links and headlines and so forth. So what I would like to do is I want to share with you actually, I'm going to go to one of these headlines that you've been sharing with me. And let's take a look now with a critical eye and not just leave it off at the headline. So here we go. I'm going to share my screen. And this headline says, EEOC approves mandatory vaccination in the workplace. Most people are going to stop reading. And then they're going to freak out. And then they're going to say, oh my gosh, I got to get this vaccine. My boss can, and maybe your boss is going to read this and say that they can do it. So let's dig beneath the headlines, shall we? And this is a law firm that is putting this headline up. That's very interesting. After I share with you the first couple of paragraphs, let's see if we could rewrite this headline, all right, so that we can rewrite it with a more accurate view as to what's going on. All right, on December 16th, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission issued its first wave of guidance. First of all, it's guidance. We know that guidance is not a law, all right? Guidance is just guidance. If it was a law, it would have a code of law. It would say that it was passed by the legislative body, and it would be a statute, statutory law. But it's not, it's guidance. But let's take a look at the guidance, shall we? And it says right here, and if you're just skimming, you're going to see the word mandatory vaccine. Oh no, what am I going to do? I'll tell you what to do. You're going to keep reading. All you need to do is read the first paragraph under this headline. As a general rule, employers may require that their employees take the COVID-19 vaccine, but there are two major exceptions to this rule based on disability and religion. Well, that's what I've been teaching about all year, is that you have rights. You have civil rights, you have human rights, and you have God-given rights. It says that on the disability side of things, the employer is permitted to protect its employees from any direct threat in the workplace, even if that direct threat is another employee. But remember, I've taught this many, many times. You can't just assume that someone's a threat. You can't assume that a Muslim is a terrorist. You can't assume that someone with an accent is not an American. You can't assume these things, all right? These are assumptions. These are stereotypes and generalizations. And the law says that you cannot use a stereotype or a generalization. You can't say that every 16-year-old is going to be irresponsible. You can't say that anybody walking in the parking lot is a car thief. It's not possible. There's a very high standard, a very strict standard. It's called strict scrutiny, and it's very difficult to prove. I go into all of this in great detail, in 2 to 3 hours of detail in my class on employee rights. But, and here it says, the EEOC has instructed employers to determine whether an employee would pose a direct threat in the workplace, the duration of the risk, the nature and severity, the likelihood that it would happen, and the imminence of it. So a conclusion that there is a direct threat would include a determination that an unvaccinated individual will expose others to the virus. This has not been proven. I'm just stating. I'm not arguing anything, YouTube. I'm just stating what the fact is. And here again, if the employee requests an accommodation based on a sincerely held religious belief, which is what I recommend and what I do, then this request must be accommodated. It must be accommodated unless it would cause more than a de minimis cost or burden on the employer. And that means it would have to be a hardship. And that they would have to prove that they have to create a new office building for you, your own door, a special filtration system. They'd have to rearrange everyone's schedules. They're not doing that. You're just coming to work normally as you had all the time. So this headline could have said, EEOC upholds religious protections against vaccinations. That's what it could say. EEOC issues guidance to employers that they may not discriminate against employees in the workplace regarding vaccines. That's what the headline could have said. Let's go to another one, shall we? This one also says, okay, and it's another legal one. Maybe, I'm not saying this is true. I'm not saying it's true. Maybe, just maybe. What do you think? Do you think these lawyers are scaring people so that they'll get more lawsuits? Because I can show you how to do a legal exemption without having a lawyer. All right, remind me to do that. And here's another headline. This is a little more than a month ago. EEOC says employers may mandate COVID-19 vaccinations. Oh, at least they put subject to limitations. But of course they put that at the end. It should read, and it can read, and it accurately could read, EEOC says employers must grant accommodations for religious and disability reasons for the vaccine. So this is just an article. I'm going to take you to the actual EEOC. This is just an article, and it does say here, the EEOC guidance, however, includes a variety of cautionary instructions, let's see, and potential restrictions on disability-related questions and recognized protections that must be afforded to employees seeking exemption from vaccination requirements due to medical conditions or sincerely held religious beliefs. This is accurate, all right? Let's see, they put it, how many paragraphs? 1, 2, they put it at the end of the 3rd paragraph. The story could lead by saying, this is a reminder to employers that they must allow for accommodations for those that have disability or medical exemptions related to the needle. That's accurate. It's just interesting how they spin these headlines. And then this actually comes from the EEOC. Can an employer require that employees receive one of the authorized, remember, authorized is not the same as approved. Please go back and watch my video, which it says, do you have to get a vaccination? And I show that an authorization is not the same as an approval. Yes, it starts with the letter A. Yes, it can be very confusing. It's confusing to many of the social media platforms, as I've pointed out. But then it says the answer, generally yes. Well, that's not 100% yes. It said that the equal opportunity laws do not interfere with or prevent employers from following CDC Guidance and suggestions. There's no law. There is no law, my friends. There is no law. There is no law. There is no law to get a vaccine. There is no law. There is no law. They're going to try to strong arm you into it. The EEOC, there are several potential complications that the employers must consider. It is not a medical examination. Well, no, nobody said it's not a medical examination. It's a medical intervention. All right. And then it says that notably, let's see. The most significant limitation on a mandatory program is that the employer has to ensure that it properly considers requested exemptions by an employee from the vaccination requirement because of the worker's sincerely held religious beliefs protected under Title VII. I'm going to help you with that. And medical conditions which make the receipt of the vaccine, meaning getting it, dangerous or otherwise inappropriate. So I want to help you with that. My husband is a pastor, and you don't need a document from a pastor. Let me just tell you that right from the get-go. You don't need any official document that defines your religious beliefs. And if they ask you for that, that is out of bounds. You could go along with them if you want to make a little stronger case. The law states that as long as you have a sincerely held religious belief, that is all you need to say. You don't need to say what church you go to. You don't need to say how long you've been going to church. You don't need to say what your religion is. Now, this might bear a little more scrutiny down the line, but the law states that all you need to do is state that it is against your religion. Here's what you're going to do. Go to your HR department and request their exemption form. Now, if you're with a very small company, they may not have one. Or maybe you're trying to go see your daughter play soccer and they want you to go through all the shenanigans. Or maybe you're going to your dentist, or maybe you want to show this document to someone else and you just want something in writing that clearly states your beliefs or reflect your beliefs regarding this exemption for this, for the test, and for the scam. I want to show you that because we are able to create those for you. Let me just grab one here, and I want to give you an example of what we've got. So many of you have gone through my programs, and I'm so glad that you have. And I wanted to, in fact, let me grab one like this, and we can provide a couple of things for you. So let me do a screen share for you. And I want to show you that we can help you write a letter. This one is for your child, and that would be about the religious beliefs that do not allow for her to cover her face, and then the medical experiments such as the testing and the vaccines. We mentioned that. We actually refer to the FDA where it clearly states, and the EEOC uses this in their documents, that they have the option to accept or refuse the vaccine. And then we go on, and this is a letter that we can provide for you. This is this one is a 3-page customized letter with your name and your child's name. And so you can get that if you need it. I teach a class on how to do that. And so you could also do that if you wanted to go to the class and learn everything about your medical rights. So I want to share that with you as well. I just have dedicated my life to bringing this information to you, friends, so that you can live healthy and free and not have to go with all of this nonsense here. So let me do this, share my screen again, and look at the Healthy American. And if you go under Get Help and you go under Medical Rights, you can learn about your medical rights. Actually, what I want you to do is look under your employee rights, and you can do both of these classes are like 2.5 hours. You get the detailed video, all of the documents, all of this. But many of you are like, Peggy, can you just write the letter for me? And the same thing here. So you're going to go to religious freedom. For those of you that are saying, Peggy, why do you keep saying that it's against your religion? Well, how is wearing a mask against my religious beliefs? I have the answers here for you. So you can click through, you can watch the video. I have several videos here. Here's another one, another one, another one, another one. Pastor David says, should Christians wear masks? It's like a 5-minute video. You can watch that. And then I talk all about your religious exemptions. Some of you like to get this card. You can print it out for free if you want. And it basically just states the law. It's an informational card. It's an informational card intended to inform and educate others as to your religious beliefs. You can also order one on a lanyard with a plastic container. Some people do that. So that's fine. You can either, let's see, I think I have that here, religious freedom. You can order the exemption card if you want it. Some people just like that. They just want to go into a store. They just want to have it on hand if they're going to the kids' soccer game or something. So that comes in a lanyard you put around your neck. And many people told me that has opened doors for them. I don't give you any guarantee. It's an information card. It's to educate people. And then here, this is the do it for you. So this is the do it yourself. We've done it ourselves for you. You can get your personalized letter, and it is an attestation of faith. And what I want to do while you're looking at that, so you get a letter. Let me see if I have a sample here for you. Let me come off the screen for a moment. Let me know in a comment below if you have used our letter, if you have used the card, and if how that has worked for you, because I'd be very curious to know about that. And I want to help you see what this looks like. Give me just one moment here. And I know that I have some of these for you. Okay, here we go. Let me open up this one. All right. Do another screen share here. And here we go. So this is an example. It's an attestation of faith. And it talks about some of the scriptures, and it talks about why that would be offensive to a Christian. And then it's signed by Pastor David Hall. And you get this as a PDF. So you print it out. It is ready to go. The other letter is one that you can modify if you want to. So we've written it for you. It's about 2.5 pages with all of the information that they need, whether it's your school, your employer. Many of these employers will have their own documents to fill out. If you need a medical exemption, let me cover that in a different video. And normally your HR department will have something that you fill out. So I want to finalize this by showing you, share my screen one more time, and I want to show you actually what the EEOC says itself. We looked at a couple of these headlines, which we could see were not accurate. Oh, that's a pretty necklace, isn't it? Oh my gosh, now I need to find that. So what I want to do is let's just do this, EEOC mandatory vaccinations. And let's see what this brings up. Okay. There's a lot of websites. And here, if you just scan, it's going to say approves mandatory vaccine. EEOC confirms you can mandate a vaccine. If you just read the headlines, now let's actually look, shall we, at the actual EEOC. And it's a very long article. I covered this in great detail in the class about your employee rights. What I want to do, okay, let's go. Here it is. And you can go right here. What you should know about COVID-19, the ADA and the Rehabilitation Act and other EEO laws. So there's nothing here in the headlines that says that they've approved. And then even using that word, they've approved a mandatory vaccine, doesn't that make you think like the vaccine was approved? It's authorized, it's not approved. And it's not mandatory. And I'm going to show you exactly why. So you got to go way down here. They're going to bury it near the end, all the way. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. I read this entire thing. I break it down in the class. Okay. Under the ADA, reasonable accommodations are adjustments or modifications provided by an employer to enable people with disabilities to enjoy equal employment opportunities. Now, they also need to do the same for someone. Oh, the other thing you get is you get a paper from us all about the EEOC. You get 3 things. So you get a document that summarizes a lot of these cases from the EEOC where they have to abide by the reasonable accommodations for your religious beliefs. So let's keep going, let's keep going, let's keep going. I know, you might have to close your eyes so you don't get seasick. They bury it all the way down here. Let's keep going, let's keep going. Yes, we're not there yet, we're not there yet. That's why they want you to read the headline that says, EEOC approves mandatory vaccines, and they actually didn't. Oh, now we get all the way to vaccinations. But here, the availability of this vaccination may raise questions about the applicability of various equal employment opportunity laws, including the ADA. Title VII is your religious freedom, Pregnancy Discrimination Act, and more. The EEOC laws, actually, they're regulations, they're not laws. The EEOC laws do not interfere with or prevent employers from following the CDC and other federal, state, and local public health guidelines and suggestions. You don't have to do it if it's not a law. If it's a guideline or a suggestion, there's no law, it's not enforceable by law. Okay, let's go further. Let's go. Here we go. ADA and Title VII. This is your medical disability. This is your religious freedom. Okay. I've talked about this for a long, long time. I hope it's starting to make sense. I know it can be confusing. That's why I have those in-depth classes. I've got a medical rights seminar. I've got an employee rights seminar. I've got your business rights seminar. And I've got the freedom learning to break free from public schools, because they're going to try to impose this upon you. Here we go. And here, okay. If an employer requires vaccinations when they are available, how should it respond? How should the employer respond to an employee who indicates that he or she is unable to receive a COVID blah, blah, because of the sincerely held religious practice or belief? Are you ready? We're almost near the end of this document. We're almost near the very end, and here's where the $64,000 question is. Once an employer is on notice, meaning you went to the employer in writing, you can use our letter packet. It's 3 documents. It's the attestation of faith. It's your letter asking for the religious exemption, and it's a compilation. It's like a 5-page document of all of the previous EEOC rulings and Supreme Court rulings that upheld religious liberty. So I want you to get that. Once an employer is on notice that an employee's sincerely held religious belief, practice, or observance prevents the employee from receiving the needle, the employer must provide reasonable accommodation for the religious belief, practice, or observance. All right? It must provide, unless it would pose an undue hardship. What is an undue hardship? An undue hardship is having more than a de minimis, more than a minimal cost. So if they just have to rearrange your schedule, or if they have to let you work from home, or instead of facing people in public, you're going to do a different job, that's not a burden. It's not an undue hardship. An undue hardship is if they have to build you your own office. They have to put in a special air filtration system. They're going to bring in their own doctor on a daily basis to examine you. That might be an undue hardship. But for you just showing up to work like you have all this time, it's not an undue hardship. And you're going to fight it, and we're going to fight it, and we are going to win. And I'm going to help you every step of the way. So what I want to do, and here, what happens if an employer cannot exempt or provide a reasonable accommodation to an employee because of their sincerely held religious belief? If an employee cannot get the needle because of a disability or sincerely held religious belief, practice, or observance, a practice is something you don't do, like I don't do it. You don't do it. This is the temple of the Holy Spirit. I'm not going to put the needle in the temple of the Holy Spirit. I'm going to keep my body pure. Peggy, where is that in the Bible? It doesn't matter if it's in the Bible. What matters is it in your soul. It's written on my heart and soul, all right? That's good enough for me. It's good enough for you. It's good enough for your employer. We're giving them more than they even need. All right. So if there is no reasonable accommodation, it would be lawful for, interesting. All right. Why did that happen? You can see it's almost near the end. It would be lawful for the employer to exclude the employee from the workplace. This does not mean the employer may automatically terminate the worker. All right? Employers will need to determine if any other rights apply. Oh yeah, like your right to work under the EEO laws or other federal, state, or local authorities. So they are not supposed to fire you. And if they do, you make a claim at this EEOC. So in this employee rights seminar, I give you everything that you need, all of the links, everything that you need, sample letters, and you'll know exactly what to do if that happens. However, some of you are like, Peggy, I don't have the time. I just want you to tell me. So please go to Religious Freedom. Please go to Letter for Religious Exemption. And we are asking for a donation as a fundraiser to help support this important work that we're doing. It's very time intensive to receive the emails, to create the letter, to email it back, check if there's typos. So thank you for those that can donate to support this work. And when you go there, here, you can, we're asking for this donation per letter, per person, not per letter. We give you 3 letters, but per person. If you have 2 kids or 3 kids, it's, you know, so on and so forth. You could do a custom amount if you can't do the $20. Some people have given us $5, $3. You know, you email us if you have any issue. Here you have to click to write a comment. And when you click to write a comment, you need to put in the names. And is this for a school or a employer, or what do you need that for? So that's what I say. Be sure to click the box that says write us a comment and provide the names that the letters personalize, and also if it's for an employer, a school, or an organization. It will take us a few days to do that. Also, if you want to do this, so I hope you'll take advantage of it. People have done this. They've told me that it's working, and we need to educate these people. Also, this is a very lengthy, you could include this. It's written from the point of view of California, but for those of you that got your state laws, you can modify this. And this is a, oh my gosh, how many pages do I have here? This is a 5-page document where I talk about all of the laws that are being broken, that are violating our rights when we're being told to do this. And of course, this and this goes along with it as well. It talks about religious persecution that's going on. So you could also, I have this letter on the website for free. You're welcome to grab that, and then you can modify it to your heart's content. So let me show you where that is. This is one of the most important pages right there. It's documents. This is where you're going to get all these documents that I've created that are available here. We're working night and day. I say we because I've got a couple of volunteers that help me with the emails and some of the research and so forth. And we pulled all of this together. So here is the, didn't I put it there? I will put it there. It should be here. I'm going to add it. So we've got what to do when you've been discriminated against. Can you fly mask free at the USPS? Yeah, you don't have to wear a mask at the post office. So I will put number 15, and I will make that be the religious exemption letter. But as you could see, it was on this page as well under religious freedom. And you go under letter for religious exemption, and you can apply for yours. And then you can also get my letter, and then use that as well. Send them, 15 pages of documents of laws that support your right to work without getting the needle. Let me know what's going on with you guys down below. Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to be online with you here at thehealthyamerican.org. I need all hands on deck so that we can breathe life back into liberty. I'll see you very soon, everybody.